Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, hello. It's lovely to have you here. I'm a relatively new channel that's I'm trying to grow. um, it's a new venture for me in retirement and I'm loving it, so any likes, subscribes, I'd be so pleased. So today I'm just going to talk about my how relaxing and simple my retirement life has become after downsizing. Um, I just I can't shout loud enough from the rooftops about how the downsizing experience has worked for us, how it's worked so well, and well, I'm a huge fan. Uh, some of you might have seen my earlier video, which I'll either link below or in a link if I can. But as I said, I'm new, I'm not very good at things like that, but I'll definitely put the link below of our decision to downsize, what John and I took into consideration and to do this, to make this move, because I know a lot of people just find the idea of it absolutely horrific, and I agree it's not for anybody, but it was for us. And if you're considering it, I hope that anything that I can bring up can help you make a decision one way or another. You might think, yeah, we'll go for it, or you might think, no, can't do it. So really, one of the reasons we wanted to do it was we just wanted to make our life a bit easier, a bit stress free. We're not getting any younger. I'm 65, John's 67. We've both got various health issues that, they're not making us as fit and as nimble, without going into big details, as we were before. Um, we wanted to be secure. We wanted to make sure that we felt safe. We didn't have to worry about too much maintenance. Anyway, so that was it. I'm looking at notes, sorry. Now, I am during this video, and towards the end of it, if you stay tuned, I'm going to show you a tour of the flat, of what the space is, of what we live in. Um, a subscriber did ask me for one, and yes, it's taken me a while to get to it. But yeah, so I'm going to show you a tour of the flat. Now, when I say I've written things down, that's partly because I stuttered over some of my words in that menopausal brain fog. Those ladies who suffer from it, even some men, because I think my husband's having a menopause at times, that, you know, I stumble over words. Like you say, I've just done it. I can't, your brain goes, and you know what you're trying to say, and you're looking at something and you think, I can't remember, what is that? What's the word for that? So I've got a few notes, so please bear with me if I look at it. So, yeah, we think our life now is hopefully is maybe as easy and as stress-free as we can be, because it also gave us downsizing, as I mentioned, it gave us a level of financial security. We didn't have to worry about too much maintenance, security, etc. So these are some of the reasons why we think it's easier. Well, let's start with the maintenance. We don't have any major maintenance problems apart from internal decor. I mean, we are responsible for the windows. We did have a problem with the windows when we moved in. The seal had gone on a couple of the windows, a double glazing. We could hear everything outside, and we do live quite near a busy road. Um, but we got them fixed easy. We thought, oh my God, it's going to be about £5,000. We're going to have full replacement windows. But did you know that these days they don't tend to do that? They say the frames last forever. It is things like the seals and the hinges, etc. So we just got a company in and they fixed it all for us for 300 quid. Hey, that saved us what we thought would have been £5,000. So even yourself, when you've got these little problems in your own house, if you don't move out, there are other ways to do things. The world revolves and moves on, and we just look at it was when we had it fitted, and now they're saying you don't have to. So we had a few problems. So we're responsible for the windows, and the rest of it is internal. So the roof, we've had the roof the roof has been recovered here, so it made it really warm, so it keeps the bills down anyway. There's only 2 floors, ground, first, second, and we're on the second, so we really benefit from that, improved roof. So I'm digressing again. So we have very little maintenance to worry about. Um, the building contents, the building's insurance is covered in our monthly service charge, which isn't expensive by any means. So we have very little to worry about. That makes it all much easier. You know, there's beautiful grounds outside. It's set in its own private grounds. Makes it sound posh, but it isn't. But it is set in its own grounds, trees, um, lots of greenery, lawns. They're all done, looked after every week, part of the management charge. It's absolutely beautiful. And because I say we're near a busy road, but we're set back off it, and it's lovely. And we have great wildlife, beautiful birds. We get an owl occasionally, and we have some cheeky foxes that they can make a lot of noise. And those of you who've heard them, they can hear them, but you can see them playing on the lawn and running around. And I think that's lovely. Anyway, but I don't have chickens or anything like that to worry about. But we have foxes, so it's beautiful. We don't have to worry about any of that. It's all done for us. And there's areas to sit out. You don't have to sit amongst everybody else if you don't want to, and it's lovely. So it's one level living. So everything you'll see on the video, it's all on one floor. Yes, we have to come up 2 flights to get here, but they're not very steep. You can take your time. There's a landing in between. If you need to stop, John brings the shopping up. He will, if he does a big shop, he will have to stop on the landing. But, you know, a few minutes, come back upstairs. At least we're not doing it like when in, you know, our house, we'd go to the bathroom, or you wanted something from upstairs, you know, you're up and down the stairs, you know, numerous times a day. That plays havoc on joints, etc. But we're pleased that we're one floor living. But let me just say, my pounds have gone up a bit because of that. I don't think you realise when you are in a house how many times you do go up and down the stairs a day, because I have put on half a stone since I've been here, and I'm sure that's down to, you know, lack of movements. Because like I say, sorry, I'm moving again. We do have 2 flights, but we only do them once a day, if that. You know, not, but neither of us. I don't go out every day. Some days John won't go out. You know, just whatever it is. So that's a bit better. Looking down at this, so that's easier for us. One level living. And it is just so easy. It did free up some capital from the house. You know, we had a big 3-bedroom garage, big garden. There's only us 2, and as you get older, you don't need it. You have to let things go. You have to be a little bit of a minimalist life. But as I've said before, I found that quite liberating to a point. But even though I do still want to bring things in, you'll see in my video, I have a bit of clutter around my desk. That's the only big mistake I think we've made, is I went in and ordered the furniture for this, and I got a desk that was far too big. I didn't need it. I've now investigated, there's other way around. I could have done what I've done for my computer and that, for hobby work, for family tree, for competitions and that. I could have got round it a different way. But hey, I've got it. It is a bit of a work in progress. I might work on that next year. But so you do make some mistakes. So that was a mistake. And I do have tendencies to build up possessions, and then I find the storage space is getting a bit jam-packed. But that's all a work in progress. And I did mention somebody in the later video, the Scandinavian lady that I watched before we moved here, and I can't remember her name, but I'll find her and I'll link her down below for anybody who's looking. And she's very minimalistic and very creative with space, even like where she puts the cat litter and what she calls it, where do you hide the ugly stuff that you need around, but you don't want it on display. She's very good, and I found a lot of inspiration out from her. And all that, having less, truly makes your life easier. Things like, we probably said that in the kitchen, you know, you don't have things like, we don't have a spare dining set, we don't have a best, you know, we don't have a Somerset, or, you know, when you look at some of the home magazines and you look at some of the YouTube people, you know, especially now as it comes to Christmas, they change everything. They change all, they put the the summer decor away, and then they'll bring the autumn decor, and then they'll change that, and then they'll bring the Christmas decor in. I love that. I absolutely love it. But we now don't have the room. And having said that, to be honest, when we did have the room, I didn't necessarily do it. So sometimes it's a case of, do you go through a little bit of a phase of mourning when you lose the space? Do you start to think, well, if I had more space, I could have done this and I could have done that? But think of yourself, when you did have the more space, did you do it? Some of the things I think now are, I wouldn't mind you doing that. I can't do it because I don't have the space. But you think, but you didn't do it when you did. So think about it. Like I say, I do like a little bit of a change things up for a bit of an autumn. Like I've just had a little bit of autumn Halloween around the flat, and it's coming up. I'm getting stuff ready for Christmas, but instead of doing like everywhere, I will pick two small areas. I have an area, a calyx unit in the hall, which you'll see, and there are some little Halloween things on there, but they will change for Christmas. Put little tiny things there. I have some flowers, a vase with some flowers in the hall, and I changed that. That will change to like Christmas flowers during the summer. It was tulips, small pieces that I get from like Primark, B&M. Outside the front door, have a pair of green wellies that match the colour of the front door. They've got autumnal leaves in at the moment. All sort of fake. And then I'll put some Christmas things in. So I do have some little areas. So you think, I can't quite do the grand scale, let's do the porch, let's do this, let's do that. But I can do my own little slant on it. So that's what you do. You learn to be minimal. Like I went back to plates. We have 3 plates. We have 3 cereal bowls, soup bowls. With 2 egg cups. We do have a lot of glasses. I've got to say, a lot of glasses, because that's because some of them they were bought to us by family members, and they are lovely. And to be honest, I'm ready to let them go, but Mr. Fitz isn't. John went, no, we keep them, but they are on the top shelf of a display cabinet, sort of gathering dust. But eventually you might decide you won't want to get rid of everything in one go. But it does make life simpler, you know what I mean? And I think, because it's a small flat, we don't tend to entertain now. We are grateful that we've got family and friends who entertain. So we often tend to be the guests, not be the hosts. But we do have family around for a little, like a meal, or only one, or, at a time, or a friend at a time. It makes us sound miserable, but that's the way we do it. And so we just go and take a nice gift as our way of contribution for not being the host. And it is simpler having, like food wise, we have to look at what we buy, and no very large value packs. Although Mr. Fitz forgets and brings in a great big toilet rolls. Last week he does the shopping and he bought big value bags of pasta, but they were a bit of a challenge to store. But you do that. But the beauty is, you don't have too much stuff. You don't find that tin of ham or pears or whatever that you have lurking at the back of the cupboard that was probably about, when we moved, you look at some of the things you've got and you think, oh my God, it's about 5 years out of date. You have these mad ideas where you think, oh, I'll throw that in my basket, You're a bit more mindful. You have to think, and we don't have in stuff that we don't need, and you regularly have to review. But I like that. I like keeping this little flat nice. So I like regularly reviewing. Yesterday I did a little bit of a job of the bedroom. I decided to move a few things, get a nice tray for my toiletries, my hair product. And I like that. That's my, way of keeping it nice. And I'm still house proud, but on a smaller scale. So you find you don't have half the things. We don't have a big fridge freezer. Now sometimes that is a bit, you'd like to store more stuff. But on the other hand, you don't store the stuff like you have leftover cabbage or veg or something, and you think, oh, I'll put that in the freezer and then I've got a little bit if I need it. And it's still there 6 months later. So, yeah, sometimes we keep things that when you really think about it, you don't need it. So it's simple. We just buy what we need, don't hoard. We've always got plenty of food. We don't have any waste now, really, very little waste. And so that is just how we live, and it does make things simpler. Now, storage solutions. I might do a separate thing on storage solutions, but some of the things I'll show you some links. I'll put some links underneath to things that we've used. Like I say, you've heard me mention in the video, you will hear me mention renter friendly. A lot of things now you tend to put hooks on walls. We don't want to be drilling, although we've got thick stone walls. But a lot of places now people do rent, and there's only certain things they can do. So there's an awful lot of stuff down there. You'll see how I've stored my kitchen utensils. I've got some adhesive bars and hooks, and I've hung them on there on the side of the cabinet that houses the boiler. There are lots of things like that. You'll see me mention I've got a small basket that I've put under the, you just slide under the sofa, and I keep my notebook, my puzzle books, things like that. They're in there. I just pull it out, get what I want, put it back underneath. So that's some of the ugly stuff. There are some stuff lying around because I am a little bit, I'm the one that has more than John. John has what he calls his man bag. He has a messenger bag, and he has hobby books and things that he needs, and he keeps them in there just tucked at the side of the settee, his pen and that. He's really, really tidy. Excuse me, I'm going to have another sip. You know me, wouldn't be me without a lovely cup of Rosie Lee. So there, so there's things like that. We have storage boxes, and we use some of the, like the vacuum packs, because we keep clothes and things under the bed. So my summer jackets have gone under the bed. My winter jackets have come out. So there's lots of storage boxes, storage options and things for drawers, etc. that you can use. You just have to be creative. To be honest, it's a bit of a hobby for me, and I like it. I don't see it as a hardship now. I see it as something to stimulate my mind. I can always learn new ways of storage, minimizing it. I go on about it again, lifelong learner. You can't keep doing the same. Well, you can keep doing the same things all your life, but I'm not that type of person. Even if I'm just the sado that enjoys looking at new ways to store things, then it's something that keeps my mind stimulated. And that's how I look at it. And we have a very simple life here, and it doesn't mean it's boring, and it doesn't mean it's the end that we're giving in. Far from it. This is, I can't tell you the happiness it's given us. Like I say, we go out, we come home. If we go out for a coffee or something like that, you come back to a lovely, warm, clean, tidy home. The bills are less. That's another thing. Heating bills are a lot less because it's a smaller space. And we found last winter it was, we got quite a big rebate at the end, because we only had the heating on for an hour in the morning and maybe an hour and a half in the evening, and that's it. It keeps itself warm all day. It's such a nice place. Like I say, the bills are down, easy to manage, and it gives us a freer, simple life. We haven't given up. We haven't dropped out. Although John sometimes says, "Oh, I've dropped out now, me. I don't go searching for things." He has a lot more leisurely place than me, but I can't help it. I'm a Leo. I'm a bit manic. My head's manic. My head's going all the time, like I say, looking at things. How can I store that? Oh, could I move that there? Could I put that there? And that's not a stress. Some people might say, well, if you're stressing about how you're storing things, no, it's not. I find that interesting. I find it challenging. It's a new aspect to my life, So I hope that helps. I hope you like the little video of our flat tour. Let me know what you think. Is there anything that I can answer, for you? Can I help you with any questions? And, please put something in the comment below. Yeah, and that's just one of the good sides that we've found to this. Yeah, it makes me sound like I'm constantly doing things and searching things, and I can't settle in this flat. That's not true. The things I do to find creative ways to do it is just, to be honest, it's a new hobby for me. And I really, really enjoy it. And I love living here. We have neither of us have looked back on this for a second. As I say, we sometimes have a night away, just to break things up, because you can, when you're retired, you can get these cheap offers. And we just go out, shut the door, go. We don't have to worry about security or anything like that. So it's lovely. And I don't have to tell you again, dear. I highly recommend it. So I hope you enjoy what I'm going to show you. And I'll link some of the storage ideas and things in the bottom for you. And I'll see you again on my next one. Okay, now, bye. So we walk up to the door. I try to personalise the front of it. We've changed the colour. I always have a little wreath. I change it today. We've got the poppy. And then we come into our hall. I was whispering a bit out there because I didn't want the neighbours to know what I was doing. So we have a small hall. I have a Calox unit. Excuse the bags down to the left. I'm just going down to get some clothes dried at the laundrette and to go to the charity shop. So we have a nice little display unit. And then that brings us round to our bathroom. With a little nice sparkly chandelier. We try to make it nice. So as you will have seen, it's at the toilet seat. So we had our bathroom refitted. Those who have not seen it before. So we've had a large walk-in shower. Beautiful it is. So nice and fresh. It might have been a bit better without the light off. And then rest of our hall. You notice we've got a lot of bee paraphernalia and things all around the house, bee decor, because we are Mancunians. So we have that there. Like I say, we've got a montage to Manchester. And so coming in from the front door, we have a small weird cupboard there, but it's got our fuse board, it's got the internet provider, it's got quite a few things in there, a mop. Very useful for all sorts of things. And then we come into our bedroom. So we've got one large double bedroom. There's always a Dyson in there somewhere. So we had it fitted out from IKEA with sliding door. So it doesn't, once you open the door, they don't come out into the room and encroach. My slippers are there. We have our bed. I've got a thing about feathers, can't you tell? And then we had a run of IKEA drawers all the way along the length of the room for storage. And there is a fan up there. We just keep that there. We need it in the summer, but we've got nowhere else to put it at the moment, so we get the outdoor storage unit. So we've given ourselves plenty of space there. Wash basket in the corner. And that's my desk, which, truth be known, is too large for the room. We're still working at things about it, what to do, my bookcase. But it's full of, I keep my printer underneath, a little mini desk, my iron. It's not all 100% tidy. This could be tidier if I was tidier. I have a box over all my family tree, and there's all my techie stuff because I've been out. I've had them all out doing some work. But it's got other storage. Behind the door, we have our full-length mirror. Me and my scruffs, and then a little hook behind the door to hang dressing gowns. And of course, luggage is up there. Not brilliant, but I'm thinking of putting the big cases actually under the bed, and I'll show you a clip in a bit of under the bed storage. We've got some nice little pieces from they were Temu or Shein that just sort of add little finishing touches. I like a bit of bling, as you know. So under that bed there, that lifts up, that's double ottoman space, plenty of space everywhere. So that's that. Let me while I move you around. And so now it's, like I say, it's only small, but it's absolutely fine. And then we come into our lounge. And it is quite a lot. It's larger than the lounge we had in our detached house. So a little bit. If you'll have seen my previous video about how I decided what to keep, you'll have seen that box that was my mother's. And I've restored it. I've painted it and made it better. So we just have my nice one of my Bath and Body Works candles. Down behind that fern is a socket, you know, for USB and plugs. But like I say, got the nice plant behind it. In front of it, sorry, not that's the nice glittery light, as you can see. What I was trying to say, there's an extension box behind there. You can do USB and plug. So I just put a plant in front of it. So we have that nice little sparkly corner at night. And then when we move around to the rest of the room, we've got this really large double bay window. And it lets in so much light. In the summer in here, it's so hot and so sunny. We get all the sun in the morning, in fact, most of the day. So we have 2 sofas. So that's a 2-seater and a large 3-seater at the back. The girl that was in here before, she had an office working space at the back and even a dining table, but we've just done it like this. Little storage and lamp cupboard next to my husband's. We had some nice shelves put on for just some little bit of interesting decor. Down there, there's a basket, an old hamper. My husband keeps shoes and things in there, keeps it tidy. I had that table, yeah, enough said about mine. Can't you tell I'm the untidy one in this house? But I keep that little bucket with bits and bobs. I enter competitions, so it's stuff that I use for competitions and hobbies. There's a little basket under there, if you can just see it. Now, that was a tip I got off somebody. She's a Scandinavian lady, and I think she might be called Brie Larson or something similar. Birgitte Larson. And she shows you, she's very small living, and I've put into there pens and puzzle books and things, and she just says, just get little baskets and slide them under your sofa. So that's our lovely light lounge. This bar at the top was already here, and it had small black hooks on, but they weren't very good, so I took them off, bought these meat hooks off Amazon, and managed to get my pans on. The other bar there with the utensils, I bought that off Amazon. There's a lot of things that they call renter friendly these days that you don't have to screw nails in or anything, and they've been on there for 18 months now with no problems. Keep my wok there, and as I say, nice space for, look at my cabbages, I need to get them cooked, don't I? So I keep rice there, nice jars, nice little basket with oils, olive oils and everything. Double sink. Like I say, it's very small to a lot of people's thoughts, but we do, you have to be thoughtful what you have. So that's it. So what I will do in a bit, I'll link below some of the things from Amazon that you can use for renter-friendly, offer small spaces to help for storage solutions. So this is our sideboard that we bought. Now, in that sideboard, you have to think outside the box. So in the sideboard, we put an overflow of glasses, tins, tin tomatoes, tin beans, some of the cooking utensils, because we don't really need anything else in there. So you just think outside the box. So it's a nice piece of furniture, but we then use it to help with our storage solutions. And this is our humble little abode, but we couldn't be more happy.